Hi, I'm Kari and I believe. I grew up knowing the Lord because my grandma always made sure that all of her grandchildren knew that they were loved and that Jesus loved us. And she shared Bible stories with us. So I always had a knowledge of God and I always believed him. But to say that I actually walked in that truth, I don't think I got it. And well, I know I didn't get it because I made a lot of mistakes throughout my life. And um, I don't want to really go into all of that detail other than the fact that there's two in particular times where I really wanted to share with you what it's like to have to completely rely on God and hand something over to him. It was after I was remarried, and our daughter, she began to struggle with addiction. That was something that was new to me. I knew what it was like to be surrounded by mental illness because it just was in our family, and that was something that I knew. Loving someone who struggles with addiction is different. There are times where we didn't know if we would get that dreaded call that something happened. And we tried everything. And she tried everything. But there was one day that I was cleaning my kitchen and the song Break Every Chain came on. And I fell to my knees and just began to sing that song. And it was almost like it was an out-of-body experience. I just began to sing that song. I wept so hard, and I just started claiming victory over my daughter. It was the first time that I truly experienced the power of God, that it was not my fight, and that he had it under control, and I had to trust in him. And that was the hardest thing, because I see a problem and I want to fix a problem. And so I've always done things my way, and the consequences of my life is proof of that. Up till now, he did come through, because fast forward, my daughter and her husband are both clean and sober, and they are following God, and they have just completely, with God's help, changed their lives around. And they're now getting a second chance at building this beautiful little family. And it is so amazing to see. It's so exciting to watch. They decided that they wanted to move back into the area and move in with us for a while till they got on their feet. And we were in the middle of getting ready to sell our house and move to another house, and it was very exciting. And we were making all kinds of plans, and an unforeseen situation just brought all of that to a halt. The house had sold, and we were packing, and then this particular situation just kind of interfered with our plans. I didn't know what we were going to do, because these kids moved here to be with us, and they had nowhere else really to go. And we were their support. And this church family here at Bryan First, they are their support. And I didn't know what we were going to do, if they were going to be able to move over to this new house with us or what. So I started to journal everything, just because I was kind of mad, and I had to do something with those feelings. As I was realizing how much I had to hand over to him and just completely trust that he's got to work all of this out. There's just no way around it. There's nothing I can do. I had no control over the situation. None of us had any control over the situation. I just started praying and worshiping. And the song "I Trust in God" just came into my heart, and I just started claiming that song and singing that song. And then I got to that part where I sought the Lord, and he heard and he answered. I just started claiming that over and over and over again. And so I had to tell my family, God's going to fix this, and we're going to proceed as planned. We're going to pack. We are going to do everything the way we had originally thought, because we are going to trust that God's going to fix this. He wouldn't have brought them all the way here to just abandon them or to abandon us. So I just started claiming it over and over and over again. Another song that came into my mind during that time was, there's a line in it where it says, you already made a way, and I'm running through parted waves, straight to you. You are always faithful. And that just resonated with me. That was my anthem. God has this tricky way of making this big dramatic entrance, like a big dramatic entrance to a party. It's just like, wow, look, there's God. Here he is. He showed up just in time. We held on to that, and sure enough, he came through. And I'm talking day of moving, packing, trusting that all of this is going to work out. And he showed up and he fixed it all. That was just the most amazing experience to me. The enemy wants to lie to us. He wants to cause fear and doubt. And, I just found myself over and over again saying, I'm just going to take authority over this fear and doubt in the name of Jesus. And I am going to trust you, God. I said so many times, I'm going to trust you. And the peace came over me, and I knew there's a lot of you that are probably going through those moments of doubt, those things that you've prayed for years and years and years, and wondering, is God even hearing me? Or those things that that you're walking through right now that seem like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And I just want to encourage you to lay it down and don't listen to the enemy, because he attacks in those weak moments, and just take authority over that and just trust that that God is bigger than all of it, and that he is walking alongside of you. And it might be taking so long because he has all those little tiny pieces that he has to perfectly put together. And it has to be in his timing, because all things are possible with God. I continue to learn that lesson, because I'm sure I'll walk through something else. That's what we do as Christians. I'm sure I'll walk through something else and I'll try to fix it. I'm here to say that my faith is stronger, and I'm just really excited to know that we have a big God, and we can put it all in his hands, and he will come through. We just have to trust him. When I first started attending here, my brother was the pastor and my sister-in-law was the worship leader. And at the time that I came here, I came as a single mom and was walking through a divorce, and it was very, very difficult. I had always enjoyed being on a worship team or a worship choir, but when I got here, I felt like I had no business being up there to sing because of what I was going through. As time went on and I began to grow closer to the Lord, I had asked Melanie, hey, is it okay if I sing with you sometimes? And she had invited me to do that. And there was another girl that was singing as well. So I started singing with them. When my brother and sister-in-law decided that God was taking them in a different direction, and they had left the church to pursue other things that they felt God was leading them. The other girl that was singing with Melanie, she became the worship leader. So I was singing just with her. And then she decided to leave. And we were in the middle of trying to find a pastor, and there really was no one else. It had to be me. And I was scared to death, because I have never sang a song by myself up to that point. It was always with someone. And there was the sweetest lady, Mary, who played piano at the time, who believed in me. And she was a really big encourager. And she pushed me out of my safety zone. And I kept telling her, I can't do that. I can't do that. And she kept telling me, yes, you can. And she would stay after and practice with me until I felt secure. So when I first got up there that first time, I was scared to death. But in time, I started to feel more confident, and I started to rely more on God. And I knew that He didn't have me up there to just leave me hanging. And when I looked back at all the little things that led me to being up there to become a worship leader, I could see exactly those moments that He worked in all of that to bring me to that place. I was singing, but I didn't know how to lead worship, to bring people in to worship. And I remember Mary at a conference that she did, where she said that worship is like kissing the face of God. And that just got me, because then I realized how long worship has been that thing that God uses with me to talk to me. And then I began to just see that it's okay to lose yourself in worship up there. I'm not singing songs, I'm singing to God. I just became comfortable making a fool out of myself. I don't care. When I'm up there worshiping, I just absolutely, that's my time to focus on God and just be aware of the Holy Spirit's presence. And it's just the most amazing thing to be a part of. Using God's gift is so important, because those gifts, I feel, kind of define the path that God is taking you down. It might be being able to go speak to people that are fighting addiction. It might be having that boldness to go out on the streets and just share the gospel with everybody. It might be being a teacher and, teaching our children. There's so many different avenues you can take in the giftings that God has for you. And that's another thing you got to trust. You have to let go of, is that fear. You have to, because if you become comfortable in the life that you're in, you're not growing. And so sometimes God calls us to step out of the box and trust Him. And once you do, you'll be amazed at the growth that you will have in your relationship with the Lord, because you are fully trusting Him and using the gifts that He's giving you. I believe